Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm bringing you all a meta update based on this weekend's SVO. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, consider checking out the stream down below. And without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So in the S tier, oh well, firstly, let me explain. I found a tier list maker of all the legendary cards. So each legendary card will represent an archetype. The weird thing here is Cruel is representing Roach. We'll get into that later, but basically let's just go through the whole tier list and then we'll get into how each deck functions as we check out each deck afterwards. So firstly we have the tier 1 decks, which are Spellboost Rune, Cresthaven, and Treasure Sword. These decks are kind of like the best decks of the formats, and they're the most popular decks, the 3 most popular decks. So if you're going into ladder or tournaments, you have to be prepared to at least try to beat one of them, ideally 2 of them. I don't think you can build a deck that beats 3 of them, but yeah. So there's that. And then next up we have Izudia Forest, Roach, and Modabyss. These are the tier 2 decks I have. And for tier 3 we have Egg Portal, and then the 2 dragon decks in the meta. So yeah, we'll go more into depth into these. Real quick, Izudia and Roach are tier 2 because they actually have very good chances into most of the tier 1 decks. I would say Sincero might be the best deck into them. And then Modabyss, as seen from SVO, has a decent chance into all these decks. Although I do think that the tier 1 decks do have a positive matchup most of the time. So yeah. Oh, also, Egg Portal is pretty good into this to Treasure Sword, from my experience. Yeah. Alright, first we have Spellboost Rune. So I just took the highest placing list in the tournament for each one. So yeah. This is Spellboost Rune. It's pretty much tech to beat the Rune Mirror. You can tell that by Snowman Army. If you would like to tech it more to beat Treasure Sword, which is also a viable option, you can get rid of the Snowman Army for like Williams or Flame of Chaos. Usually it's Williams. And yeah, this deck's pretty much the same as last expansion, except we have the Gilnelise. And this deck helps you win the mirror often because, like, if you don't find Cocytus, Gilnelise is an alternative finisher. And it just helps you close out games, like, without needing Cocytus decline. It's just, like, really good. And in the mid game, it helps you heal. This deck has, like, a lot of healing with Gilnelise, Norman, Sagelight Teachings. Where is Sagelight Teachings? Right here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys all know how Rune works. You kind of just control the board, draw your pieces, and then end the game with like Gilnelise or Cocytus, and then declimb or Quan declimb as well. Yeah, it's pretty standard Rune stuff. Yeah. My next in-depth guide, by the way, is either gonna be on Rune or Cresthaven. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, stay tuned for that. All right. Next up, we have Treasure Sword. This list is a really like popular list nowadays in Japan. I've seen Tablet be played a lot. This Tablet card is like a really good tech card in the list. If you guys have seen my recent sword video, my sword guide, you'll know that I really like Tablet in the list. And yeah, I think this list is really good. Tablet, like, when you draw Tablet, the game feels really good a lot of the time. So like, it's just this deck lacks draw, and Tablet just gives you the draw that you need. It's just really really good. But yeah, this list is a bit more of the aggressive approach. We have a lot of finishers. We have Centaur, Tentacles, Odin, Albert, of course, and we have the triple quick later for the early damage. But we also, for the mid game, we have the triple Zirconia as well as the triple Lancer for the early mid. Yeah. I covered a lot of this in my in-depth Treasure Sword guide, so if you want to know more about that deck, please feel free to check it out. It's the last video on my channel. Yeah. Alright. Next up we have Cresthaven. This deck is just insane. Like, the most unfair thing that it does, I think, is 5 crafts with Benison is just a 2 mana heal 10. I think you guys have probably all faced this before. The idea of the deck is you just use Marwyn's effect. Marwyn's Crest, which is at the end of the turn, ally followers did an attack, deal X damage split between all enemies. And yeah, you just build up your crest, control the board, and eventually you're gonna whittle them down, especially if you're grinding them out. Healing 10 each, like healing 10 for free is really strong. Gilnelis can close out games. Cocytus is also pretty good in stuff like the mirror, or yeah, just to like in the more grindy matchups, Cocytus is good. It's not too good against decks like Treasure Sword and stuff, but yeah. Gilnelis is really good here. And what else do we have? Anything interesting in this list? This is pretty standard. Kasabian, I'd say. Temple is a really good card. The barrier is just really obnoxious to get through for certain decks. And yeah, these are 3 tier 1 decks. If you're just trying to win, I would recommend playing one of these 3 decks. Or at least this archetype. Because of course you can like change out cards and tech out some decks. But yeah, I recommend playing these 3 archetypes. Alright, next up we have the winner of SVO. This is Izudia Forest. So, for those who don't know, the idea of this deck is basically you make it to Izudia, and then you try play this Annihilating Onslaught, which if there's an allied Izudia on the field, it will deal 20 damage. So you play Izudia on mana 8, and then when it gets discounted, you can play Bunkle, Izudia, Sivo, Bunkle into the spell. On mana, I believe it's turn 11, or you just wait till turn 12, right? And yeah, that's pretty much the idea of the deck. It can do pretty decent into the top decks. It's just not as consistent. So keep that in mind. And of course, if you do not draw your Izudias, then you'll often lose the game. Like if you just don't draw Izudia. So yeah, that sucks. Next we have Modipus. The idea of this is based around Shamnatra. So your faith starts at 0, and then whenever you select modes, increase your faith by 1. So you run a bunch of these mode cards to proc the Shamnatra effect, which allows you to increase the amount of modes you select. So here you have a bunch of these mode cards to proc your Shamnatra, and then after you proc your Shamnatra, usually your mode cards will be enough to win the game, especially if you're selecting like multiple of these, like yeah. And yeah, that's the idea. Very like late game oriented deck. If you like that type of style, you can play this. Although like I think Crest and Rune are like just better late game decks. But if you enjoy Abyss, then feel free to check this deck out. Alright, next we have Roach. This is hasn't changed that much. I have an in-depth Roach guide. Basically, we're running Eradicating Arrow instead of... Oh, this guy's running Ambush and Eradicating Arrow, but this is a really, really, really good card in the meta. So I highly suggest taking this card in. He opted for Fairy Fencers instead of Fairy Tamers. It depends what matches you want to be good into. Fairy Tamers are pretty good. I think they're better into the ones you really, really need to OTK them, like Crest Haven and Rune. And Fairy Fencer is better into the sword matchup. So yeah. It's pretty much the same as before. If you see my in-depth Roach guide, cool. If not, I highly suggest checking it out if you're interested in this deck. But basically, the idea is you all in on Roach and you try to kill them with Roach, and that's it. All right. Let's go to the next deck. We have Egg Portal here. I think this deck might be like I didn't want to make too many tiers, but I think it might be in between the A and B tiers, so it's like D plus, because of the fact that it does have a good matchup into Treasure Sword, which is a tier 1 deck. It can outgrind them, but yeah, it's kind of rough into some other matchups. As you can see, this list runs Cocytus, so you can kind of win some of the more grinding matchups, which I think is the tech that allowed it to, make top 8. So yeah, we run the early puppet cards because puppet early game is really good, and also you can destroy the puppets to create your eggs with devastating soprano and stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Classic egg portal, you just try grind them out. Create like probably 3 eggs on board is optimal. And yeah, you use cards like Lashena, Soprano to create your eggs. Use the puppet early game, and you end the game with stuff like your eggs, Odin, Gilnelis, and Cocytus. Yeah, so all these codes will be in the description, guys. So if you guys want to try them out, link down below. All right, next we have Fenny Dragon. We have 2 Fenny Dragon lists because they tied, so I just pulled them both up. These are the best dragon lists. There's no dragon list that made top 8. So yeah, these made 17th place, I believe. So if you're interested, check these out. The idea for those who haven't played Infinity Evolved is Fenny halves the cost of all the cards in your deck. So after you play Fenny, we have a bunch of draw here. Like this deck uses a bunch of draw: Golden Melody, Greatness Ascended, Olivia. You try to draw into your really strong pieces, mainly Neptune, discounted Neptune, Twilight, and Genesis with this deck. This deck is like all in on like trying to double Genesis here, I think. We have stuff like Ruby, of course. And yeah, I think this deck, you really want to double Genesis your opponent. This one, you have a little bit more finisher with Azure Frit. As well as, yeah, Azure Frit and Genesis and the Galmi, of course. This one is a Galmi list, which is interesting. Galmi is like a really strong card, but they opted to play this. This is more like a hybrid between Galmi and Fenny, and this list is more like just all in on Fenny, I guess. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for my next in-depth guide, hopefully coming soon. But yeah, that's about it. Here's the tier list for one last look. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.